Welcome back. The richest man in the world, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, accusing the National Enquirer of blackmail and extortion in a fiery blog post. Now the Enquirer and its parent company, American Media, fighting back. But could this be the beginning of the end for tabloids? Here to weigh in is Kelsey Harkness of the Independent Women's Forum and the Heritage Foundation. Kelsey, this story is unbelievable to me, honestly. The first thing that stuck out to me was just the sheer amount of documentation of things in writing. I mean, you've got Bezos, who's a grown man, he heads the Washington Post, heads Amazon, sending these text messages, these photos to Lauren Sanchez, his mistress. And then you have the National Enquirer's parent company then in writing putting out all these conditions. Listen, we're going to release more photos unless you do X, Y, and Z. In this age, are you surprised that everyone did this in writing like this?
To an extent you are, but it is the National Enquirer. They don't necessarily abide by journalism standards that the rest of us hold ourselves to. That said, you have to ask, who is this story more embarrassing for, Jeff Bezos or the National Enquirer? Certainly, it looks like the National Enquirer could be open to some sort of litigation over this in terms of extortion and or blackmail. But we also have to recognize that Jeff Bezos is also in the wrong here. He is a public figure, and he made himself open to extortion. I think in a way he's been a bit of a crybaby because when you are a public figure like this, similar to politicians, you are vulnerable to these types of opposition research, in this case, tabloid magazine spreads. So I think all around it doesn't look good on anyone.
What about the precedent he's setting, though? Because he really pulled the rug out from under them. They're threatening him with all this stuff, never thinking probably that he's going to be the one to say, you know what? I'm putting this all out there. I'm going to be one step ahead of the game. Do you think now that a lot of these things that potentially go on behind the scenes, these emails that go through, that people on the other side will say, you know what, I'm going to get ahead of this and I'm just going to put it out there myself? Or did he do this because he has that cushion of all that money and all that success and he figured, you know what, I have nothing to lose?
Well, you're right. I think Jeff Bezos was in a position, being the richest man in the world, where he could take on this risk, where a lot of other Americans, when they are being bullied and possibly extorted like this, it wouldn't be as easy. But that said, I do think he holds some sort of responsibility here for opening himself up to this type of extortion. Yeah. But this type of extortion is absolutely unexcusable. It would not. It would not fly at any actual respectable journalism institution, and so
Thank you,
we
Kelsey.
should hold them accountable.
Thank you, Kelsey. More